This review is for Wednesday, 29 February. Begin with the market. The market made new highs today on the composite. I think the Dow finally did close above 13K. Let's see. Yes, it did. So I guess we had a slight close. No, we didn't have that close yesterday. This is the first time the Dow's closed above the 13K mark. You can see just barely made it. First close above 13,000. The market could react in that in any number of ways. Decide to continue higher because that's good. Think that the psychological target or goal has been reached and give it back. But the composite is not showing any weakness. And we've talked about the composite maybe needing to get to 3,000, perhaps over 13,000 and 3,000. Both of those, very important psychological barriers, which mean nothing in reality except for the psychology of it. Both of those being reached may start a pullback. And you see here we've got acceleration here after a lesser incline after the gap to new 11-year highs in this region right here. So we're getting our acceleration, exponential type movement here over the past 4 days. It seems to have begun. And if that's going to be the last gasp, we could very well hit 3,000 and then start coming back down for a decent retracement for a week or two, if not longer. But perhaps just a week or two. The market wants to go up, and that could continue. Things don't look really good to have it go a lot higher. We'll talk about that later some other time perhaps. Some people are writing articles about a redo of 2011 when the market did. Basically, everything looked really good the same time last year and fell apart because of a lot of problems in Europe, oil issues, oil prices, any number of things, budgetary things going on in the Congress, just a whole storm of things that made 2011 absolutely nothing to pay attention to in terms of recovery. You can take a look around the time on this 10-year chart. Here's the beginning of 2011 right here, and the entire year was just one big doji, up, down, back up a bit, and then we finally started going higher. So this is all of 2011, just madness if you're looking for this kind of trading here. For a day trader, this kind of opportunity is excellent, and so hopefully we'll get more of this. That would be great. But anyway, you see here we are approaching the same type of symmetry and distance of these legs here. We may be a little overextended here actually, but perhaps time to fall. And you can see the last time we did this coming out of a nice uptrend into a bunch of junk. We had to have some serious go higher before pulling back. You can see that green candle right there just zapping up there, exponential, reaches too high, can't sustain, falls. But then it just gives another leg. Who knows whether we'll get this additional leg going higher, but we have not yet had, on the Dow at least, this exponential pop higher to start perhaps the pullback. We may still need that. On the composite, you can see, like I talked about, it's beginning. It's beginning. So will we get it on the Dow also? And then it goes to 1350 or something like that before pulling back, 1370 or higher, and then the market hits, the composite hits 3,000, then we pull back, perhaps. But anyway, you just have to watch it day to day. Upside is still currently strong. Go to Broadcom, do the daily. The snapback from the hook over and the rapid movement down at the end of a really nice uptrend that has a malaising period and then gives you a quick retracement. That pop is continuing. Beautiful, nice little uptrend today. Went back above 37. Very nice. Trading on Broadcom today was quite good. Keeping everything in context, this is the 20-day. It's not actually giving data right now, but it continued yesterday's movement up from below 36, where it had no problem getting back above 36 yesterday. Here's yesterday's action. It goes back above 36 very nicely, moves on up. This 20 is showing some data, the data. So you've got this trend line fan out from the fall down off these. Here's the initial downtrend line, which was broken by this day's action. The gap down moved back into that region above this initial downtrend line. And you see the fan out in operation. Then a large gap down, which is completely out of character for what had been happening when the market has a day that same gap down, recovers it all completely, goes back through all of these regions, forms this additional one here, which today very quickly was broken, breached to the upside, and it went very fast from the very beginning. This fan out into cradle reversal, this really kicked things off, and boom, very, very strong. You see it has given it back. We have some other trend lines now that are in operation clearly. That will be important. So you draw those, you go forward. This is curving back up and might have this kind of trend line here off of this elbow from the beginning of the day's action. Maybe we continue higher. Maybe we are getting back to 38 and going to test these tops. Certainly possible with the type of action we've had with this hook over on the daily. Boom, you go higher. I wouldn't be surprised to see this maybe head for 40 here in the next week or so, if the market has that much strength in it and doesn't kick Broadcom in the teeth. But you see, for Broadcom, we have some significant tops to work its way through. This one, it did get up into this region between these two tops. Perhaps it's going to try to get up here to 40 and try to close this gap here, this big gap down way back 6 months ago. It's going to need to breach these levels and have to see how well it does getting there. But this is extremely strong. You can see we got another third day on that, especially if the market is going into exponential rise. You know, we go on up past 37.50 tomorrow, 38, 38.50, sure, why not? Broadcom has shown its ability to give large candles to the upside in particular, and this is a good pattern, nice and strong. Obvious trend lines down to be paying attention to. This one I drew on the 20. That's going to control tomorrow. 37.50 will be a real key level for this stock. That will be an intersection, essentially, for proper timing, an intersection and coincidence of these two lines. So breaking above that could be very nice. Move right on up to 38, 38.50. Broadcom could, into that scenario, also be strong tomorrow, be just as strong as today. Real possibility for that, as you can see. 37 once again, of course, if it comes back down, could be a key point for another tail, let's say. A tail down, boom past, move on past. That could easily be a scenario you could be watching for. But these are your controlling trend lines, quite steep. Could allow for some very quick action with that kind of movement. SanDisk. SanDisk's story is pretty simple. 50 is an overhead resistance for it. It tailed or wicked just above it. You have an ascending wick overhead right now. SanDisk has not gone exponential yet. It could tomorrow. Perhaps it's up at 51 at the end of the day tomorrow, 51.50. It very well could. It was a little reserved today, given how strong this pop was. So if it's going to come back up here, going up to 51 would certainly, I think, qualify as a gap closure. It dropped from much higher, way up here above 52 on the actual day, close to close. But visually, you can see 51 not a problem at all if it's going to be strong, and people may consider that to be gap closure at the time. Perhaps it falls back significantly from 51, gives a nice wick, but you can see very well could get on up there without much problem if things remain strong. It is wedging into a tip with this formation, and that with the strength upside, it can just very well break out of that. I expect it will do that. I expect tomorrow should be another strong day from the market. But it all depends. You have to see. That could be completely off, and you just have to adjust to the scenario. Talk about Netflix. Netflix story is the 115 level that we've talked about for the open and fall when this gap down. Made it back up there today, pulled back from it, approximately 115. Very nice, moving back above 110 today. It was quite strong. So it opened up every, Netflix bounces between nothing days and very significant days, day to day, and you just kind of got to take your shot which day you think it's going to be based upon reaching and maintaining critical thresholds. So this was quite nice today for Netflix. Not incredibly stellar. Other things would have given you more profit, but it was still pretty good for Netflix. Those price levels are still controlling. Netflix seems to be a stock that is more controlled by critical price levels than other things. Its trend lines are a little rougher sometimes, but you can gauge things out by horizontal price levels like this double top right here. Very nice price level definition there. Same for some of these plateaus. That seems to be the way to analyze Netflix the most, is what it can maintain, what it can't. If it struggles back above 113 like this, it starts growing again, well, okay, it decides, okay, yeah, I'm okay living up here. But you see the 113 had to be an important level here once it got back down, breached this threshold. 113 was right there. It didn't go too far below it, and clearly made a decision based upon 113. That's what it does. So decent trading today. Fairly well behaved in its pop and move upward. And as you can see, breaching these horizontals was no problem, but it had to make some decisions at those levels. There you go. That's Netflix. Could continue up tomorrow. Definitely could continue back up and try to hit 120, try to come back to these bottom levels. And this is coming off the 50, so that would be pretty strong. It could be. Might need to be headed back up here to test. So come back in this region, test this uptrend line that it broke. Get another big day tomorrow, perhaps. Have to go above the 20. Okay, X. X is in danger. Didn't do anything good at all, really, with today. Tried to, started to, gave it back, gave a red candle, and gave the first close on this uptrend line since way back here. This close defined it with this tail. We now have the very first close on that line when it had a real chance to show its upside potential with the market. This was a very bad break, quite disappointing given how nice this rise was to go back above 32, which was a key level from the fall. Talked about that. On the longer term chart, we can see that. I guess we can go back and review that. Take a quick look on the longer term chart. Here's the 10-month. And you can see we've got kind of a problem here. If you're going up, you're widening here, and you can't sustain this, and it comes back down. So this fall here was the 32 level. Couldn't maintain that. Real nice snapback and fall. 28 has been the key level for X for a long time, and we closed below that today and are in threat of breaching the long-term uptrend line, which is not particularly strong. It's awfully shallow. This is not a strong recovery attempt given this fall, right? And given the fall, if you look at the longer-term chart, this is how it was trying to go up before. Has this nice fall. Tries to go up a little bit here. This looks actually like it might be, oh, I'm going to get exciting here. Gaps and nice stuff here. Oh, just peels over, crashes. This slope recovery here is not particularly impressive. Not at all. And so we're in danger of breaching that, and we would fall substantially. Another thing to look at is price levels for X, because it is moving quite a lot as well. Think of it in these terms. You've got 39, or 32 rather, as an obvious issue. Breaks can't maintain that, falls down basically to 28, hovers around 28. Okay, let's say it can't maintain 28. Where does it fall? Symmetry would take it down to 24. Real nice $4 potential movement here, and you would see that would gain some support through this level and this action down here. Doesn't necessarily have to come down to 20 and below these levels. It could, but that might take a while. But clearly, this is in threat right now of moving very far, very fast on a break of this trend line. Could have some very nice downside for X, regardless of whether the market's going higher or not. It didn't do jack with today, which was a decent, pretty good up day. You see there, that's the candle made by the market. X is a Dow stock. The Dow was not as impressive. Take a look at the Dow real quick. But X is in threat, is vulnerable. See, here's a much smaller candle for the Dow. So if it can't maintain 13, wants to pull back, come back down to 12.9 or so, you could get a real nice single candle day down. That's what it did back here when it was squeezing higher, higher. Okay, one big candle right down to relieve some of that pressure. It's not squeezing as much as it was there, not as clearly anyway, but 13K is an important level. Okay, get a break on down below a line, something like this, and pull back for a nice big down day. That could send X just ridiculously in its current position. So definitely have to watch for that on the 20-day chart, 10-minute. This is your pattern right here, and you can see the most recent bottoms. The long-term trend line comes through something like this, and we've been, I guess it would have to be a little bit lower because the close is on it, or something like this. So we've been going below it a little bit and then solidly moving back above this recent little bit lower trend line that's producing the tails below this longer term trend line, which is the top one. We closed on that today, but you can see if you breach either of these significantly, you've got some serious downside potential. Scale here is not huge, 2780s here, 2740s here, but that's a decent amount, and 50 points from the close down to 2740, which would be the recent lows, I'd say, 2740 price level down here. You could get down there pretty quick. That's a 50-point movement. That's not bad, and it could be far greater than that. 1 day, 2 days, who knows? X is vulnerable though. So those are the main four. Let's look at some other interesting things. Apple just keeps going higher. Was secure at 520, started to fall below it, rejected that opportunity to fall on the nice market day we had yesterday, went back above it, and we're moving exponential on Apple again. For nice open big tomorrow, this could easily go to 550. Stopped at 535 today, basically a 7 or 8 point rise from the open, bigger from the close from yesterday. Could that hit 50 tomorrow? 550? Sure, why not? The market's strong. Text instruments, very nice here, very nice candle. Rejected another opportunity to fall below 33. Last time it would actually close below 33 was way back here. You can see it may very well be trying to break out of 34 and go higher. Text instruments looking really nice. Visa had a decision today. This weak candle, giving how good the market was yesterday, was notable. However, it did not have any sort of problematic opening. Opened right on the uptrend line and just went. So the opening, was favorable, and so today its decision was upward. So X or V rather. Once again, there's no top above V, just like there's no top above Apple. Who knows how far it could go? This is all-time highs for Visa. Let's see if we'll do a couple more. Best Buy, very nice movement back up today, breaking its downtrend potential here, giving a nice little tail back up, going back above the critical threshold of 25. We talked about it could be weak beyond 25 and start moving back down to have to kiss this uptrend perhaps. Didn't need to. Made a decision at 24.75, went back up about 25, surpassed it. Very nice candle. Good trading on Best Buy. Upside going back above that important threshold. And so upside looks pretty nice for Best Buy. Maybe challenge 26 tomorrow. Come right back up here. This is a pretty good, nice snap. It has a penchant for adding nice candles on after these big moves here from important decision levels. This elbow here on the turnaround decision level, big candle, nice candle the next day. This one, important turnaround, big candle, nice candle the next day. This one was not an important turnaround area. It just gave a big candle to come up back to a region it had previously rejected. This is not a decision area. This is a decision area. This is 2. This was 2. So adding another candle right on top of that, that's been its what it's been doing lately. So yeah, we come up 26 tomorrow. Best Buy, no problem. That could be really good. And I think that's it. Those are the most interesting things. UNH is still forging higher. Green, green, green. So breaks 56, maybe it does and goes exponential. $56 is a nicely priced stock for $1 worth of movement. That's really quite good. What was that? UNH, I think. This will be the last one we talk about. So yeah, UNH forging new 6-month highs, pushing higher. 10-month highs definitely could come on up to some more of these levels. 58, no problem. Looks like it's headed straight for 58. Could very well get going to do that some more tomorrow. So why not? There's another level it can be hitting. You can just hit that tomorrow, whatever that level is. Approximately, what is that, 57 something. So 56, 57 for UNH. That could be really nice. It's really moving up. Okay, those are the most interesting ones. Check those out. Draw your trend lines. Focus on the overall context of everything with maybe a little bit longer term chart, like a 20-day, which gives you context for everything that's happening throughout the day, as you can see here on X. Nice movement up, but it really hit this downtrend line pretty hard. Fell back below it for a second time and just went on down, despite this looking quite impressive in the morning. This looked pretty impressive. Gave it all back. Tells the story. A little bit longer term charts like this can give you context for the things you're seeing. And I need to focus on that myself. So that's the advice for tomorrow. Good luck trading.